New England Ford Patriots Fifth Quarter. Brought to you by the New England Ford dealers. Home of the best-selling cars and trucks in New England.
Well, Happy New Year, everybody, and I hope that gets you off to a rousing 2006. Bob Lobel with Bob Newmeyer and Steve Diassi down here at the Razor Gillette Stadium, where you saw about as dramatic a game that didn't matter, or it actually mattered in certain ways, but a game that really didn't count in terms of playoff making it in or making it out than this one today. You just couldn't have had any more of a dramatic finish. And people say, okay, we lost, but I'm not unhappy. That's what people are leaving this stadium with attitude.
Well, I mean, you got what you wish for, and be careful what you wish for. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars in the first round, and it's going to play out. They're probably playing either Saturday night, Bob, or Sunday afternoon. We'll try to let the people know before we go off the air, but that's the matchup. And I know, Steve, that a lot of people were hoping that that would be the matchup. I say, again, be careful what you wish for. This is a good, solid ball club that plays tough D. They run the football. Don't know whether it's going to be Leftwich, probably at quarterback. He's playing today against Tennessee, or David Garrard. On paper, they look like a slightly inferior team to Pittsburgh, but I still think they're a worthy opponent, Steve Diassi.
They're a worthy opponent just by being in the playoffs, but if you had to choose the least of the 6 teams that are in the playoffs, it would absolutely be the Jacksonville Jaguars. And today's game was an absolute, almost perfect ending. It couldn't have gone any better, because now they do have the 4th seed, and given the choice, you would end up most likely in Denver anyway. Playing the Jaguars is absolutely the best road in the playoffs.
If we talked about a play of the game, I think we all would agree that it was the extra point Flutie drop kick. Unanimous play of the game, the Heineken Red Star play of the game. And when's the last time you saw this? This may be the last time you ever see it.
You know what? We used to do this at Boston College before practices. There were 2 or 3 of us that would get, and it was easy on the not easy, but it was a lot easier on the AstroTurf. You try that on the grass, that is so difficult to do. What a fun play. 2 things jump out at you. First off, I wonder if Belichick notified the NFL, and I wonder if he notified Saban. I would bet that he talked to Saban about the possibility of it happening before. I don't think he would do something like that without letting his friend know that was in store. But wow, just a great play. Another treat in Gillette Stadium for the fans. Something you just never see.
And this is a trip back in a time machine. I mean, this is like watching a basketball player throw a ball in a peach basket. Or a hockey goalie without a mask. Right. I mean, to see a guy drop kick a football and leave it to Doug Flutie, who probably did it a million times in his home and schoolyard in Natick, and as you said, in BC
all the time.
Whatever, to really send this crowd home with something to remember with that drop kick extra point. I think I've come full circle. I was at that game in Miami, standing 10 feet from Gerard Phelan when he caught that ball against the Hurricanes in that 47-45 thriller, and now I get to see him, almost 20 years later, drop kick a ball through the goalpost.
Does the local legend of Doug Flutie, is there any more room for it to grow? All the things that he's accomplished in his college and his pro career, and then to do something outrageous like this is just spectacular. And I tell you, somebody's got to remind him that he's 42 or 43 years old. He is like a little kid out there. It's just so much fun to watch, and to see him doing that. When he lined up deep like that, I said to my buddy, he's going to drop kick this. Watch this. And it was just to watch. He had it for another 10 or 12 yards, too. It was a good kick.
And the irony, Bob, is that people wanted to see him play quarterback. They were booing in the third quarter. And finally, Castle rallied him late and looked pretty good in the 4th quarter. And he wound up stealing the show with that drop kick.
All right, let's go inside with Steve Burton and Ted Johnson right now. Gentlemen.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. We're talking about that Flutie drop kick. That ball right there will go to the Hall. First time since 1941, 2 weeks after Pearl Harbor. That's just amazing.
Pretty impressive. We were you had me convinced it was an impressive play, and I have to agree with you. I want to go out and do that after the game. You and I see how hard that is. That is not an easy play. You know what? I think more importantly, it makes them a part of the team. The guys were excited about it. It builds on the camaraderie going in the playoffs. So I think they had fun with it.
It's funny. Flutie gets in for one play, and that play right there is the play of the game. It's also, that play would be the biggest highlight of the week, probably.
There's no doubt it'll be the biggest highlight. I mean, Doug has a way of making big plays, and people around here love him. And he's got the flair for the dramatics, as he showed right there.
We mentioned the playoff game coming up next week. The Patriots will play the Jacksonville Jaguars, whether it will be Saturday or Sunday. I will let people know this, that Bob Kraft is going to get an award on Saturday, so you better believe he's going to be fighting for this game for Sunday. Bill Belichick is coming into the room now, addressing the podium.
Okay, well, we, one of the things we wanted to do today was, play competitively against a good football team, which Miami is, and Obviously it came right down to the last play. I was proud of the way the players fought. We got a lot of people an opportunity to play, and you never know when that's going to be beneficial, and this is really our last opportunity to do it, so we tried to take advantage of that. I think we got everybody in and got some significant playing time for some guys that haven't had as much opportunity to play recently. So, congratulate Miami. They've won 6 straight. They're a good football team. I think Nick's done a great job down there, and unfortunately he's in our division, and so is Miami, but they played very competitively and made the plays they needed to make to win, and give them credit. So we're on to Jacksonville, and we know we got our work cut out for us there. Jacksonville's a tough football team. They're physically tough, and they're mentally tough. I know they come from behind a lot this year to win, and so that's a mark of a good team, a team that can win on the road. And we know that'll be a big challenge for us this week. So we're looking forward to moving ahead to that. And that's it.
Coach, did Doug have to drop? Coach, did Doug have to talk you into that drop kick?
No.
You knew he had it all the way?
Yeah.
How long did you be working on that practice?
We went through it a couple of weeks ago, and he had mentioned that actually Chris Berman brought it up initially about how he had seen him do it up in Canada, and so we had a couple tryouts out there, and Doug shanked a couple, but he hit a couple pretty good ones, and so thought if we had an opportunity to do it here in one of these last couple of games, that we'd give him a shot. And, I think Doug deserves it. He's a guy that adds a lot to this game of football, has added a lot through his great career, running, passing, and now kicking. And, so he's got a skill, so we had a chance to let him use it, and I'm happy for him. It's first time since 41.
You do. I was going to ask you if you really knew when the last one was, because we had
41.
to look it up.
Might be 60 years again too. It's a lot tougher with the way the ball is now. It's a lot tougher kick than it was back then. But really, Doug's hit a lot of good ones in practice. We've done it a few times, and he's banged them right through there. So we didn't have time to think about it today.
Have you tried a field goal in practice from a distance that would be?
We're just working on extra point. We're just trying to walk first. Walk before we can run.
Bill, do you feel momentum is important heading into the playoffs? And do you feel you have?
No, I think playing well is important in the playoffs. That's what I think is important, is for a team to play well.
Did the lack of a bye week play into your decision to maybe substitute more freely, get some guys out of there and rest it up a little bit?
No, I wouldn't say so. Because we guys played last year in the San Francisco game. We had a bye week that year, so.
No, Are you aware that the playoff scenario could have been altered had you tied the game because Cincinnati lost Kansas City? Had you tied the game, gone on to win in overtime, it would have altered the playoff scenario?
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about any of that. We don't care about that. We're just out there playing a game, trying to win it. Tried to run the plays at the end of the game. We thought it'd give us the best chance to win it, and that's what we did. And we fell a little bit short. So.
What was your overall take on Kelsey's performance today?
Some things were good. There's other things that could have been better. Take a look at it on tape and break it down a little bit more. There were some positive things.
You were a rise for Pam Childress too, going from the practice squad, and Nate comes out there and plays both ways.
Playing on special teams too. Yep.
Had he been working on defense? Has he been doing that for a while?
He has. Yes, he has. Mm-hmm.
What kind of skill set does he bring that allows him to play on both sides of the ball? Obviously, the hands are there.
It's similar to Troy Brown. He's got some quickness, good hands, instincts, tough kid. He's been working over there. We've been short on defensive backs, so we practiced some of our receivers. In the defensive backfield, we had a couple guys today that didn't play, so Bam was, emergency duty.
Bill, obviously work to do getting ready for Jacksonville, but in an overall general sense, do you like how your team is situated heading in and out to the playoffs?
Well, it doesn't really make any difference. It's a one-game season right now, so we got to muster up all the energy and all the preparation we can to get ready for Jacksonville. We are where we are. It doesn't make any difference where that is, and we just got to put everything we got into it this week.
Bill, if someone told you at the start of the year that you'd have 8 players of the 53 make it through and start all 16 games, would you say at that point that would be about right? 8 of the 53 to start all 16, or would that be on the low side?
I don't know. I'm not sure, Mike.
Can you just talk, I mean, you talk a lot about consistency. I mean, is that a more meaningful thing for a player to make it through, start all?
Sure, it's great. Yeah, no, sure, it's great for a player to be able to play every week. I mean, that's hard in this league. You know, it's a long season. There's a lot of football, and there's a lot of tough football that gets played out there. So to start every game and play every game is, it says a lot. It says a lot for guys to make it all the way through training camp too, and have go out there, be out there for every practice and training camp. Which is another thing that I think is along the same lines of that durability and consistency that you're talking about. Yeah, there's no question about it. You'd love to see that. Some guys do it. Unfortunately, it's hard for everybody to do, and it's probably unrealistic to think that would happen on a football team. But that's always your goal.
Bill, was part of the rationale of resting the starters where you did the fact this could be a short week? Do you know if it's a Saturday game? When will you know that? Is that a factor in how you manage this game?
No, I don't know that, and I wouldn't characterize it anywhere near the way you put it. That's not what I said, and that's not what it was either.
Well, I'm just curious as to the fact that
I'm just answering a question. We played guys to get them experience, to get them out there and let them play and give them a chance so that they'd be better prepared to play if they're called upon. And that's what we did. And everybody played today, so that's it.
With substitutions scripted in the sense you just wanted time to play the first quarter or just the number of series kind of thing?
But no, we didn't really. The idea was to play everybody. It wasn't scripted to a certain point, but I felt like after that drive that was a good time to take them out and start to get in there and run a regular offense with Matt and the guys that he would be in there with. Tom was pretty much in the 2 mid and 3 wide receivers and all that for the plays that he was in there for.
If this situation does come up, if Tom gets hurt, you'd play Flutie presumably. So why wouldn't you let him get those minutes?
We'll play whoever we think gives the team the best chance at that particular time in that game. That's what we'll do there. Doug's played the last couple of weeks. Doug played in Buffalo, played last week in New York, and so this gives everybody a chance to play. And look, I don't know how it's going to go. Crystal.
Preparing for the possible playoff opponents, and when did you start doing that? Now that you focus on Jacksonville's
Well, it's kind of been a normal week for us from that standpoint. At the end of this week, we start to look to the next opponent like we normally would on the regular schedule to get the film work and that type of thing prepared. And this time we had to do it on 2 teams. So there were a couple different scenarios that could have come up. Actually, it was 3. But we played Kansas City fairly recently. So then you do that preparation work, and then once you know who it is, then you dive in there. And that's where we're at right now. We're ready to jump into the pool, dive head first.
Bill, did you give a lot of guys practice reps with the ones this week? I mean, did you mix that up, or did you go through?
I think, I would say, Brian, that all the players that played had reps in practice of not just running a scout team, but running the things that that they would be running in the game. Yes. Coach, it's kind of just broken up so that everybody kind of got a chance to practice and everybody got a chance to play.
Coach, just your thoughts on the way Matt Castle played today?
Some things good, some things probably could have been better. Okay.
So there you go. The Patriots lose 28-26 and end up playing and hosting Jacksonville in the first game of the playoffs. Time to be determined. It'll either be next Saturday, or next Sunday, and that'll be announced, hopefully sometime later this afternoon, because obviously we all would like to know as soon as possible and see what happens. If it's a Saturday game, it'll be on ABC. If it's a Sunday game, it'll be on CBS. ABC has the pick of games on Saturday, so we'll see how it all sorts out down in National Football League headquarters. Mr. Diassi, Mr. Newmeyer, and I'll be back along with Steve Burton and Ted Johnson, Inside Player of the Game. That's your chance to weigh in right now, so you can vote for CBS4Boston.com. Click on Player of the Game.
Some nominees?
Flutie with the drop kick.
Bam Childress going both ways off the inactive list, offense and defense.
I think Matt Castle was
throwing
not
some
a bad
names
pick
out
either.
there.
Matt Castle brought him back in the second team.
He played so well compared to the last time he touched the ball here.
Okay, there's some nominees for you. Let's go. We'll be right back.
Coach Watch Bill Belichick's postgame news conference is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts. Bring yourself back. The Red Star Play of the Game is brought to you by Heineken. Heineken, it's all about the beer. Visit enjoyheinekenresponsibly.com.
Guests on New England Ford Patriots fifth quarter receive a gift certificate to Milton's, the store for men. At Milton's, you'll be as comfortable in their stores as you will be in their clothes.
Welcome back to New England Ford Patriots fifth quarter. Brought to you by the New England Ford dealers, home of the best-selling cars and trucks in New England.
Okay, well, the scenario, of course, is that Jacksonville comes to town either next to Saturday or next Sunday to play the first playoff game against the Patriots. And then you reshuffle because Cincinnati plays Pittsburgh, Indy and Denver have byes, and then we see what happens after that.
You reseed after the first round. This isn't like the U.S. Tennis Open. Yep. So if the Patriots were fortunate enough to beat Jacksonville, and let's say hypothetically that Pittsburgh knocks off Cincy, New England, although, on paper would look like they would go to Indy, would go to Denver. So that could be, and I know that's a scenario that you've advanced.
First seed automatically gets the least or the lowest seed in the playoffs after they reshuffle it. And I like the idea of Pittsburgh, if they beat Cincy, going to Indianapolis, because at worst case scenario, Pittsburgh is going to beat them up physically. They may even beat them. If you remember when Pittsburgh played Indianapolis in the regular season, Pittsburgh got embarrassed. Not only the score, but they were beat up physically. And that doesn't happen to Pittsburgh teams. Their defense is playing well. They'll come back firing.
And I think the Bengals, I'm going to disagree with my man Diossi here. I think the Bengals are the weakest team going into the playoffs right now. They're limping in. Yep. And Carson Palmer's a terrific quarterback. They've got a great offense. But, Bob, their defense is bad, capital B. And so I can easily envision a scenario where the Steelers, knock off the Cincinnati Bengals in that ballgame. Cincinnati's coming in off a horrible loss to Buffalo, and I'm sure they rested guys today, but getting their, butts kicked today by the, emotionally charged Kansas City Chiefs and Vermeil's last game. Yeah. I mean, they got to get it together fast in Cincinnati to get going here.
Plus, Palmer's got an injury, he had a groin injury, Anyway. Speaking of defense, which Cincinnati has none, Jacksonville kind of depends on that side of the ball. So let's talk a little bit about what the Patriots can look forward to next Saturday or Sunday here.
Look forward to a very aggressive defense. Look forward to a defense that can put pressure on the quarterback with just 4 rushers. They got excellent pass rushers all across the board. They don't mind throwing in different blitzes. They'll throw in zone blitzes. They've always been a team that's been almost overly aggressive on defense, and at times it's cost them. But the way they're playing this year, they're getting better play in the secondary, and they're getting very good linebacker play. So when you talk about a Jacksonville defense, the first thing that comes to mind is very, very aggressive.
Good interior defensive linemen. I think that's their strength. And Steve mentioned the linebacker play, very active as well. This is a team that tries to grind you, and by that I mean beat you like in a 13-10 type of ball game. They're not particularly explosive offensively, but they're just a good, tight, well-coached, disciplined football team, and I think they'll be a very worthy opponent. Now, the major question about the Jacksonville Jags, to me, Bob, is who's going to be the quarterback. Byron Leftwich is the #1 guy. He had an ankle injury about midway through the season. And David Garrard, who I think is arguably the best backup quarterback in football, came on and did an excellent job filling in for Byron Leftwich. I expect Leftwich to be the starter here next weekend if he comes out of this game okay.
Well, he was famous in college for playing with almost a broken leg at one point. So, Leftwich, if he could all play, he absolutely will play.
But here's the thing about Garrard, in that he's a good runner from the quarterback position. Yep. He's a strong, bulky guy. You look at him; he's very blocky. Almost has that Rohan Davey type of build to him. Not a bad passer, rating about 83. Decent, respectable around the league. He's a nice player. I don't think he's in Leftwich's category, but he gives you a different dimension in that he can run the football.
And you mentioned earlier the way they try to play the game, very similar to the way Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick's Giants team played. They try to force you into making a mistake. They don't want to make mistakes. They want to grind you down until the fourth quarter and put enough pressure on you that you make the mistake that costs the game. And you have to have a very good defense to do that, and you have to have a quarterback that doesn't make mistakes.
Okay, let's go inside quickly now, gentlemen. Steve Burton. Steve?
All right, Bob, thank you very much. Well, we're going to bring up the Jacksonville Jaguars because the last time the Patriots faced the Jaguars in the playoffs was back in 1999. The guy to my right, what do you do that? Was
Zone Mania, running wild.
And it was a close game. Patriots ended up losing
we were down, I think, 14-10. We're driving early in the fourth quarter. And here it is. Look at here. It's just 3rd and 7, 11 Purnell. He ends up dropping the ball. We would have walked in, taken the lead, but it was not our day.
Look at the command from the quarterback. The command.
Tell me this is the Lovett Purnell drop right here.
3-step pump. Ooh,
no, that one was a bad one.
That was a little high.
See, that's
Sean Jay should have caught that.
Hey, either your team catches it or nobody, right? I think this is the third and 7 right here. Lovett for the first down.
Come on, you know what?
There.
Just brick cans. That's the nicest guy in the world.
That's why I'm standing here right next to you guys.
Okay, but that's back. Oh, look at him.
No, we got waxed pretty good. The week
heads up. You got to get rid of that ball.
Leg movement. Yeah.
The ball away.
Is that number 16 or 11? No, that's 16.
Yeah, I black looked good.
Thanks, buddy.
Pete Carroll.
Poor Pete.
All right, so that was back in 1999.
Yeah.
Today's Jaguars a totally different team. Leftwich looks like he's going to be the quarterback. Tough guy.
This is great. I think you get 2 weeks back-to-back where you have a sit-and-duck quarterback, a guy you know that's not going to scramble. Byron Leftwich, heavy to begin with. I guarantee you this guy's about 275, 280 with the ankle injury. He hasn't played in a while. Rusty. I like the matchups. I think this is the best track to Detroit. You get Jacksonville, and then you get, boom, Indy, after those guys have been sitting for 3 weeks. A little bit of rust, right, Ted?
When you think about the Jaguars, Ted, too, you think of some key guys. Taylor being one of them.
Yeah, I think of Fred Taylor. Jones. They have another great running back. So they have a 1-2 punch is pretty good. And with Brewski not, potentially not playing, I thought it was kind of curious that Monty Beisel was pulled somewhat early in the game. He did go in on some nickel packages. However, I felt like they pulled his reps back a little bit, anticipating that Teddy might not play next week and that Monty's going to be the guy. So
a little surprised to see Teddy walking around the sidelines.
Well,
type of weather?
if it is a calf strain or tear, whatever you want to call it, you can walk around fine with it. It's when you got to burst and push off that foot that it's hard to do. So walking around on it like Teddy's been doing it is not a big deal. It's when you got to actually push off and run is when it's hard.
Taylor's a pretty good slashing type back, but they had that big kid, Greg Jones. It's almost like Pittsburgh, where you get the double dose, where you got the bus. And you guys historically have been good about shutting down that big back, the bus. You in particular had that knack of hitting the A, the B gap, and hitting them in the backfield. So I think if Greg Jones has to get the bulk of the carries, I think it's a huge advantage for the Patriots.
Well, in the last 4 teams that the Patriots have played in December, they have a combined total of 120. They've only allowed 125 yards rushing. So their rushing defense that went from basically last in the NFL is now, I think, up to 4th in the NFL.
Yeah, but that was with Brewski back in there.
That's right. That's right.
Well, a healthy Richard Seymour, I think,
exactly.
and
that's
rejuvenated Colvin and
Vince Wilfork is
guys on the outside.
Here's what I'm glad about, guys. I'm glad that they're playing Jacksonville and not Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh can beat you up. I mean, they can pound you, run right over you. Jacksonville Jaguars, you don't know much about them, but they're a team not as tough.
I think this is the best matchup. Pittsburgh physically is the most demanding team. It'll take a lot out of you emotionally if you do squeak out a win.
That's half the battle. The emotions, you're almost playing a first-round playoff game, but in essence, it's almost it feels like a third-rounder.
Absolutely.
I like the matchup. Love it.
All right, we're waiting on Patriot quarterback Tom Brady. In the meantime, we'll go back out to Bob Lobel. Bob?
I don't see why you don't put Zolak up there at the podium after that tape highlight display performance against Jacksonville back in 1999. I mean, talk about careers, Zolak in the highlights, and Pete Carroll walking off the field. Talk about careers.
And here's Zolak, giving an analysis here on TV4, and here's Pete Carroll playing for another national championship this week against the University of Texas. Well, you never know where the road takes you.
So, you know what? I think you played really well. You just didn't have a whole lot of help in that game. Is that a fair thing to say?
It's kind. Kind.
We love him. Remember when Sports Final was the Scott Zolak show? 2 weeks in a row.
Slowest feet of any quarterback who ever played in the NFL. Sorry, Zo.
He'll be out here.
He'll kill me.
Come on, vote for him for player of the game. CBS4Boston.com is your call.
Welcome back to New England Ford Patriots 5th Quarter. Brought to you by the New England Ford dealers, home of the best-selling cars and trucks in New England.
Sports every night this week after the 11 o'clock news with our former linebacker, Ted Johnson.
That hurts.
The expert. So we got special reports all week long on the Pats' road to the playoffs. And joining me now, that's at 11:30 all week long after the newscast. Joining me now is Michael Felger and, of course, Ted Johnson. And what do you want to bring up right out of the game?
Well, no, I'm just sure there's just all this Flutie chatter. I'm sure it's all you've done is, blow smoke up this guy's skirt for probably now an hour after the game for a play that really sort of made a mockery of the game. I mean, it was sort of cool, dropkick, first time in 60 years or whatever, but didn't it make a mockery of the game?
If you don't like the guy, just come out and say you don't like him.
I have nothing personal against him. I don't even know the guy. I hardly know him because...
It was something different. It was something different for the fans. Let him have fun with it.
Perfect.
He made the kick. It was something different. Enjoy the game.
And all we're going to be talking about is their third-string freaking quarterback, and only Flutie can create that condition, and it's just a little insufferable, that's all.
I'm sorry, Michael. Did he miss the kick, or did he make the kick?
It's a nice kick. It was really neat.
Did he miss the kick, or did
it was really neat?
He's unbelievable.
Do you think he's been practicing that kick over and over
I've just been talking to the guy. He's been practicing it over and over and over, and Bill's a historian. He likes it. But look at this hug. How far up Belichick's butt do you think Flutie was for the last couple weeks? Let me kick it, Bill. Let me kick it, Bill. Let me kick it, Bill.
Why are you doing that?
Well, because I know what the mood is going to be.
Why can't these guys have fun? They lost the game, okay?
Are you guys talking about the game, or have you spent the whole time just talking about Lil Doug's kick?
This is amazing. You talk to him because this is amazing.
Let me tell you, I mean, in some aspects, I thought it was a good idea because everybody was excited about it. It brings Doug into the fold, who hasn't been playing much.
It doesn't bring him into the fold.
It just gets him excited and gets guys excited.
Why are we worried about getting Dougie excited?
Nobody's worried about it. Belichick said at the podium that he wanted everybody to play, and I believe everybody did see
chemistry thing.
It was a chemistry thing,
All
right, let's move on. Preparation, okay?
Yes.
Let's talk about preparation, because Belichick talks about it all week long. It's just the next game they're getting ready for. But did he get ready, or has he been getting ready for this playoff game against Jacksonville?
I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive that Coach Belichick and his staff has been scouting Jacksonville. They've been scouting the Steelers, possibly the Chiefs. There's a huge scouting department here that's all they do. They've probably been looking at them for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So, knowing that you're going to go into the playoffs like they have for so long, I guarantee you they've broken these teams down, and they got them pegged pretty good. They're not now just starting preparation on Jacksonville.
And today, I'll give Belichick credit. I thought he coached this game exactly as he should. He tried to win, but he tried to win with Matt Castle. We talked about it in the postgame last week. He said, what should they do? I said, try and win the game, but with Matt Castle and Marquise Hill and those guys, and Bam Childress, and that's what they did.
Why are you saying that with a smirk on your face?
Because
if you're trying to win the game, do you try and win the game with your starters, or do you try and win the game with your backup players?
It's semantics, right? But I think that they were calling timeouts. They were accepting penalties. Right. When Ben Watson caught that touchdown, now the look on his face.
Did you see the look on Belichick's face after Watson caught?
Looked like he had a little sour milk there, right when he caught that touchdown.
You have to say something. There are teams that a head coach wants to play and doesn't want to play. It's not like he's not scared of anybody. So, you have to take that into effect. The matchup against the Jaguars is obviously a much better matchup for this team. So, I don't want to stir the pot, but, being a 4 seed isn't so bad.
Well, so Matt Castle drives the team down the field. He throws a touchdown pass to Ben Watson.
And I know what you were doing.
The camera turns to Belichick, and you see the expression on Belichick's face. So they end up going for 2 after that.
Yep, to tie the game.
And he throws the ball out of bounds.
Way out of bounds.
So what's Belichick?
That was a good throw. Nice work, Matt. Right, that was a perfect throw right there. So no chance of being caught.
So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is he managed it, and I don't think he tried to win. But look, the bigger picture is this: for the first time in their Super Bowl runs, they do not have a playoff bye. So he treated this week as something akin to a playoff bye. A lot of starters did not get reps during the week. Right. They got the rest. That's the big picture. That's more important. Whether it's Jacksonville, whether it's Pittsburgh,
absolutely.
That's the big picture. That's what he did. So it looked like the first preseason game, and your guy gets to drop kick and talk, get talked about for a week. Everybody wins.
Now he's my guy.
And all the purists out there, God bless them, because I'm one too. Hey, win, win, win. But you have to be smart too. This is the first time they haven't had a bye week going into a Super Bowl run potentially. So this was a smart play. Don't get your guys banged up, because you never know what can happen.
All right, we got to go to a break. We'll be back with the Patriots fifth quarter right after this. Hopefully Tom Brady will join us at the podium.
Or Doug.
Welcome back to New England Ford Patriots fifth quarter. Brought to you by the New England Ford dealers, home of the best-selling cars and trucks in New England.
All right, welcome back here on the field at Gillette Stadium. 28-26 Miami wins this one. The Patriots will be taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we look up behind us, world champions 2001, 2003, 2004. And miracle of miracles, there'll be one next to it, 2005. And if there is ever a 2005 banner up there, I think it would be considering all that went on this season, a much greater accomplishment than any one of the first three.
I think I can draw a parallel with 2001 because, you analyze the teams in the playoffs, Bob, and statistically the Patriots do not measure up, particularly on defense. And they allowed a boatload of yardage earlier in the season, and I think a lot of us would like to see them still play against a top-notch quarterback. How will they fare against a Carson Palmer or a Peyton Manning or even a nice Denver offense? I think that's a major question mark going into the playoffs. But, you look at them, and I thought last year when they beat a great Indianapolis team here, when they went to a 15-1 Pittsburgh team on the road and beat them, and then beat a darn good Philadelphia Eagles team in the Super Bowl, I thought that was the trifecta of all time. But you're right. If they pull it off this year as huge underdogs, and that's what they are, because right now, Indy's everybody's darling. Denver's flying under the radar screen, an excellent team. And New England's in the mix with the Jacksonvilles and the Pittsburghs and the Cincinnatis. So, yeah, now you've got to do it without a bye week. Now you've got to do it by winning, to get there, 2 gigantic road games. At Denver. Indianapolis, to me, has the advantage. They're not going to play another outdoor game for the rest of the season, by the way. They're going to be indoors all the way if they run the table, and we know how good they are on the carpet. So,
but
it's
so
a daunting task.
So are the Patriots. And so is Tom Brady.
Brady's never lost in a dome. That's right.
And the Patriots, they've had to fight back from the Rodney Harrison injury all season long. It seems like that has been the rock that they've had to push uphill all season long.
Yeah, it's an interesting contrast when you think of them against Cincinnati. They played all the hot teams earlier in the year. So it's a little hard to judge, in my mind, how good the Patriots are right now because they played a soft schedule down the stretch. And have they truly improved, or are they taking advantage of inferior competition? We're going to find the answer to that in the next couple of weeks.
Well, I think we'd have to say that certainly defensively, where you really need it at this time of year, they have improved. I mean, this is the NFL. I mean, there are no cupcakes on any given Sunday.
Look, Vrabel and Bruschi inside versus Brown and Beisel at start of the year is an obvious upgrade. It's not that part of the game that I'd be concerned about. It's still
Seymour's
the defensive backs, Bob. Right. It's still the safeties. It's still, can Hobbs hold up? Can Samuel hold up against, the Harrisons of the world, and the Chad Johnsons of the Bengals?
But you would agree.
Top-notch, offenses in the league.
Okay.
Here's the Matt Castle press conference coming up.
John, how do you feel about going into this playoff compared to the last 4 you've had the last 5 years? Just ready to win.
Well, I said it's hard to. I don't even remember the last playoff, to tell you the truth. But I think we feel comfortable with where we're at. Should be an exciting game next week. I don't know when we play, but got to put a lot into it, and I think we got to play our best football. So it's weird because the urgency the last few weeks, you realize that you're playing hard and you're playing to win, but no matter what really happens, your fate is kind of already before you. So, I already feel the urgency after the game of looking forward and looking to what hopefully we can accomplish.
Tom, to that end, in terms of playing your best football, do you think the team is situated at a level that is going to allow you guys to play your best football starting now?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'd love to make predictions, but those are awfully pointless. I think it just comes down to how we're going to play, and I hope we play our best. We'll see. We'll see how ready we are. The team's confident that we can accomplish what we set out at the beginning of the season, but it's going to take some good football.
Tom, were you guys thinking about the fact that 3 seed, 4 seed coming in today still wasn't, set in stone yet, or did that not really factor into the way you guys prepared?
I don't think it factored in much. We prepared. We played to win. We prepared hard all week. We just came up a little bit short, so it was exciting. When you're a spectator, it's a little bit different out there. You get nervous out there because you can't control what's going on. But I was proud of the way the guys fought. I thought Matt did a great job. He's so far ahead of where I was my first year. I thought he did some great things.
Did you see a little of yourself in him maybe on that last drive? Because we're used to seeing number 12 out there do that. Now we're watching number 16 do that.
Well, he's done a great job. So he's really improved over the last 4 or 5 months, and I think that's what Coach Belichick was looking to see, of how well he learned over the course of the season and what he can accomplish when he gets in there. And I think he's proved to the team and to Coach Belichick that he's capable of going out there and really leading the team. I mean, I looked at him with down 8 points, and I said, what more could you ask for? You know, this is great. It's a great situation. And he goes right down the field and scores. And 2-point play. I'm sure he wished he would have had that one back, but I thought he really hung in there, took some tough hits, and really came back and kept firing that ball.
How long did you know you were going to have a less than usual role, you and many of the other starters today?
Well, he told us to be ready to play and just to go as long as he wants us to. So I still wanted to go out there. I said, Coach, let me go out there one more time. He said, no, you're done. And I think he's got better foresight than we do. So I think he, obviously coming out of the game with everyone feeling healthy and being ready to really empty your tank this week and try to go out and play our best game of the year is most important. I mean, Doug's been so nervous for like 3 weeks because that's been in the plan. I mean, I think he's probably worried about drop kicking more than he's worried about quarterback. And he was so excited when it went in. I think everybody was because we've all been watching him in practice. It was exciting for him, and I know it's because of that it's exciting for us to watch it. And he's just adds to his legend, so he's doing great.
A glimpse into Coach Belichick. We always see the mechanical, not emotional. That's him at least having a little bit of a good time. Is it a little glimpse into another side of him?
Well, he definitely. I mean, I think we see his personality more than you guys do. He's kind of the same way all the time with you guys, but with us, he's excited and he's emotional, and I think he was looking forward to seeing what would happen when Doug went out there. And Doug, it was a perfect kick. It was turned out just right.
Tom, you're one of a small group of players that started every game this year. What, if any, significance does that have for you?
Well, I mean, I said before that's kind of more important to me than any other, and besides winning the games. I mean, to showing up and playing every week. It's hard to do. It's hard to do. You take a lot of hits. To practice every day and to get out there and perform each week. It says a lot about the toughness and the character of those guys. And we've had quite a few who have been in there. We've had some tough injuries this year, but when you can really depend on players to be out there each and every week, like Deion Branch, like Steve Neal, like Logan, it's great. And I think you can really build some consistency when it happens. I think the better teams in the league probably are the teams that have guys in there most of the year. And when you lose guys, it's tough because it's hard to improve because you kind of make the same mistakes when different guys get in there. So it's great. It's great.
Hey, Tom.
Some kind of medical satisfaction in how far this team's come from being 4-4 and uneven and having problems with injuries to where you guys are now, where at least the Stars are going into the playoffs on a little bit of a roll, and you guys kind of started to ramp things up defensively.
It's been a better second half of the year. I think there's been a commitment by the team to improve things, and I think the players have really taken the coaching that we've been given. Obviously, earlier in the year, we weren't doing the things that we needed to do, and the things that I thought we were capable of doing, we couldn't accomplish. And I think as the season's gone on and the new players have adjusted to our system and the veteran players have started playing better, and the young guys have really picked it up. Guys like Ellis Hobbs and Logan and Kaiser have really filled some voids, and they've done a great job. So.
How different is this team now than it was maybe first week of November?
But every team's different. I mean, some teams get better, some teams get worse. I think we're one of those teams that's probably improved. And I think that's good. I mean, it's better to finish strong than to kind of stumble your way into the playoffs. I think we'd like to build, and like we've done, and hopefully continue to make a good push.
Hey, Tom, you took 19 snaps. Is it strange for you to come out of the game so early, and when you're on the sidelines, what are you doing? Are you still trying to learn? Are you still
trying to stay warm? It's different when you're not playing. When you get cold. I looked over. I said, God, is it always this cold out? It's just like this. But when you're playing, you don't even notice. But
I saw you trying to coach Matt a little bit.
I'm always interested, so I'm always into it and trying to put my 2 cents in. I think. My quarterback coach said, God, you're a pain in the you-know-what when you're on the sideline, because I'm always chirping in. But it's different. It's a different perspective. And things happen awfully quick out there. And, like I said, it's I'd rather be out there, but it's fun to spectate and root for your team. But I mean, it's the best I felt coming out of a game in a long time. I don't think I hit today, which is great.
Tom, is the team, you guys peaking at the right time? Do you feel this is it? You guys are ready to make a run at the Super Bowl?
We're ready to play Jacksonville next week, and we'll see what happens. So I think we're ready to play them. I mean, I think we need a good week of practice, and we need hopefully 3 good days. Like I said, I don't know what day we're practicing. Hopefully it's a full week. I'd love to play Sunday, but it's not really dependent on us. So I think everybody's ready to gear up. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's what you play for. This is why we come in and work out so hard and lift weights, and why you just sustain over the course of the year, because it's a long season. And however tired you are and however much you think you put into it, you got to dig deep. And that's what the best teams do.
Tom, obviously you haven't played a window of basketball from afar.
I mean, obviously they're a good team. They're 11-4 right now, and they're playing. I think they're up 17-0 on Tennessee, and they got a lot of good players. They're well coached. We played them a few years ago, and they're physical. They play hard, and we're gonna have our hands full. We need to play our best. So thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, Tom Brady, Newbie and I will be back as soon as we hear from the National Football League or the Patriots as to whether it'll be Saturday, whether it'll be the early game, the late game, or whether it's going to be Sunday. We'll let you know, because we're all interested. We all want to know when the Patriots are going to play Jacksonville here next Saturday or Sunday. We'll be back with more. We'll go through the highlights of this game. You can vote for player of the game. Hey, you know what? The guy kicked the first drop kick extra point since 1941. Why not make him the player of the game? In a game you lose 28-26, why the heck not give it to him?
Fun or a mockery? That's the question.
We'll be back.
Welcome back to New England Ford Patriots Fifth Quarter. Brought to you by the New England Ford dealers, home of the best-selling cars and trucks in New England.
All right, welcome back to Gillette Stadium. Here, Patriots lose at 28-26. We'll host Jacksonville next weekend, first round of the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens. Let's take a look and show you what happened here this afternoon as Teddy Bruschi sat this one out on the sidelines. In the first quarter, it was the starters, but not for long. When they were in, Brady to Givens, ball tipped up in the air and picked off.
Yeah, this was a promising drive, and this was a ball intended from Tom Brady to David Givens, and it was deflected by Sam Madison, and it was picked off by Schulters, and that gave Miami the ball. And right away, Gus Frerotte went to work and hit this pass to Marty Booker inside the 5.
And then Ricky Williams from 2 yards out, and the Miami Dolphins score first, running right at Mike Vrabel and Richard Seymour to make it 7-0. So the Dolphins are on the board first in this football game, and that was just about it for the Patriots starters.
And now this was a play we haven't seen often from the Patriots, and that is an electrifying special teams return. Andre Davis doing the honors. Nice hesitation move there, and takes this one up 60-plus yards deep into Finn territory.
And a couple of looks at it here, and that's you know how many times you see it's a little delay on the.
I watch him freeze this guy coming up right here, Bob, right there. See him getting a little hesitation move, stop and go, left to right angle, and this was the best return since Bethel Johnson took it to the house a couple of years ago.
And then bang. The coverage.
This guy's got speed. Runs a lot of straight line, deep patterns for this club, and here was the touchdown. And it's Tom Brady going to Deion Branch.
Now the question is,
one terrific catch, but when I saw this play, I could not believe that Nick Saban didn't challenge. Did he get both feet in?
Deion Branch.
I don't think so.
You already took
a sensational catch.
That was a beautiful.
I don't think he was forced out. Great throw.
That was a beautiful.
1 foot, rear end out of bounds. But no challenge. They lined up quickly and kicked the point 7-7.
Just take a look at it. Doesn't hurt you. Take a look at it. Second quarter, Matt Castle comes in, and it was all, I wouldn't say second team, but we'll say non-starters, and he's sacked by Kevin Carter. Late in the quarter, Castle rolls out and finds Tim Dwight.
Well, again, this was when the crowd was getting a little ornery here at the stadium. They wanted to see Doug Flutie, everybody's darling in the ball game, but he was designated as the third quarterback. So I think Bill wants to take a look and see what Castle has to offer.
And you know, Flutie, when he did come in, didn't come in as a quarterback. He came in as the kicker.
All right, here's a little Adam Vinatieri cold weather special. 49 yards. That ties the longest kick ever here at the stadium. 49 yards at the halftime mark, and that cut the lead to 3.
13-10 Miami at the half in the third quarter. Now 16-10 Miami. Castle and Andre Davis hook up. That's a 36-yarder, and the Pats would get a field goal again to make it 16-13.
Castle's winning some fans here. Big kid out of Southern Cal. Got enveloped here, and this was eventually the margin of victory. This safety, the third Dolphins safety of the year. That's a team record, and that was the eventual margin of victory. Mr. Castle never had a prayer here.
Perhaps on any other day would have been the play of the game. However,
but no.
Fourth quarter, more Dolphins. Gus Perrott to Booker for 15 yards and a touchdown. Made it 25-13 Dolphins, and the fans are saying, wow, they're laying down. They want to bring in Jacksonville. They have their own fate in their hands. Believe me, they were saying that. I was standing among them, and then Vinatieri came through later. Pat, here we go. First career touchdown pass to Tim Dwight, who just breaks the plane before losing the football.
Yeah, big thrill for Castle. Again, he played behind Matt Leinart. Gets to throw one to Tim Dwight, who sticks his head in there, and suddenly the Patriots are back in the ball game. And then the magic moment when Boy Wonder comes out and drop kicks a ball through the goalpost. Shades of old-time football.
1941. I guess how old-time can you get? That's one time we can legitimately say neither one of us were born.
So rare. That's a rare.
That is a rare moment. Those days aren't around much
for this pair.
But I'll say one thing that Steve DiBiase said. He's quite certain that Belichick would have told Nick Saban before the game and called the league and said, we're not trying to make a mockery out of this.
You know what I love about this, too? I mean, I love the fun part of it. You know, they call the NFL the no-fun league. I love Belichick's reaction. He's actually got a smile out of this guy, you know? People love this. This is the play people are going to be talking about. This highlight is ESPN, NBC, CBS, Fox, you name it. This is going to be the highlight of the day in the National Football League.
You know, and you say, well, why is it an extra point? Well, it's a drop kick, and here it is. Drop, touch the ground, and kick.
We've all done that in the schoolyard. It's not an easy play to execute.
No, we haven't all. No kidding.
The ball bounces every which way.
Drop, kick.
Look at him. I mean, that's what you like to see. A little emotion, a little smile. People say he's a robot, Bill Belichick. Well, there's a little emotion. Now, end of the game. Here's a throw to Benjamin Watson, and now they're 2 points away from overtime. And the playoff matchups possibly in the balance.
No question. You're thinking, well, you throw the 2 extra points, you bring in Pittsburgh.
You go to overtime.
Yeah.
Right? 28-28. Bad throw here. Castle winds up with 2 touchdown passes and a pretty decent showing, all things considered. He got booed in the third quarter. Don't ask me why. Just because the Flutyites were out in full force. They expected Doug to be at the helm once Brady got the hook. And when Matt came out, I think that disappointed a lot of the fans here at the stadium. But I think Castle won a lot of fans over with his salty play in the fourth quarter. And, of course, Doug could be named, mayor of Boston, governor of Massachusetts. And I'm going to go out on a limb that when those tabulation comes in on the player of the game, that even though he was out there for the one drop kick, I got a feeling Doug Flutie's name is going to be at the top of our list today.
I wouldn't mind at all. He did it. He executed it. That's all you know. Had to know. That's all you had to know. He executed.
What did you think of Felger's comment about kind of Bush League? Kind of makes a mockery of the game. Look, Bill Belichick is a student of history. I mean, this is almost an homage to history, if you will, by Bill Belichick.
It would almost be an homage to his father.
Yeah. Old-time football.
You know what? We respectfully disagree with Mr. Felger's comment.
That's right. Just fun.
Mockery there. It's in the rules. You can do it. All right. We're going to take a break. We'll come back with your selection of player of the game. Maybe you do disagree, and that's all fair in love and war and football. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to New England Ford Patriots Fifth Quarter. Brought to you by the New England Ford dealers, home of the best-selling cars and trucks in New England.
Hey, you know what? All I can say is this. He executed the kick, executed the first drop kick in the National Football League since 1941. Why shouldn't he be player of the game?
This is Nixon McGovern.
This is mandate.
That's 50 electoral states there, baby.
That's a mandate. So, and here it is, the drop kick for the extra point. First time since 1941. I mean, what more can you say? He did it.
drop kick for the...
It has to hit the ground, and it has to go through the goalpost.
Canadian Football League, Boston College, San Diego Chargers, Chicago Bears, New England Patriots, and the pride of Natick, Massachusetts. There's a 40-plus-year-old kid that's, you know, I know this week he'll be out there playing pickup basketball or skating in some rink or doing whatever Doug does.
No, the point is that he wasn't born the last time it was done.
That's right. That's right.
Let's go inside. Steve?
You know, it's amazing. It's one play, and it's he's the player of the game, 71% of the vote. I will say this. I just got out of the locker room talking to Teddy Bruschi. We asked him, if the playoffs were today, would you have played? And he smiled. He sort of laughed it off, but you got a feeling he's going to be ready next week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, he was on the sidelines. The TV showed him on the sidelines, a few cuts of him. But he wanted me to reiterate that each day he's getting better, and I get a feeling he's going to play next week.
Well, I trust your instincts. You know, you've been around the guys long enough. You know Teddy's a competitor, and if he can play, he'll play. It was the same way in the 2003 Super Bowl, same type of injury. If he can play, he's going to play.
All right, your final thoughts?
I have one little tidbit of information I think is pretty important. The Patriots defense now ranks 7th as far as allowing yards on first down. That might sound insignificant. However, they were terrible in that category early in the season, and their third down defense stunk because of it. Now they're much better on first down, opens up their whole third down package, and now you see linebackers making plays, and playing the defense as a whole is playing much better. I think that's going to help them a lot.
And they've been on fire in the month of December.
They really have. This is the momentum right now for these guys is going to be vital for them, and they'll feed off that.
Jacksonville is next, Saturday or Sunday. We hope to tell you by tonight. Bob Lobel, let's go out to you.
Okay.
My last thought about this season, Bob, is the one group that I think has been truly underappreciated, an amazing collection of under-the-radar athletes. Nick Kaiser, Logan Mankins, Hochstein. This offensive line lost Matt Light, lost Dan Copen. Ashworth was out for a while, but somehow Dante Scarnecchia, the coach, gets these guys mixing and matching. They form that pocket. They protect the golden man, Tom Brady. I think they've done an unbelievably good job this year. 2 rookies in that starting offensive line, and they've done a fabulous job with really no kudos whatsoever. I think a shout out for the offensive line. Tremendous work this year for this ball club.
Okay, we'll see you next weekend, right? Whether it's Saturday or Sunday, and we still don't know, so we'll just find out. Maybe we'll know during the 6:30 news this evening, certainly on Sports Final tonight. You can say this, 2006, off with the kicks. And that would be the Flutie kick as the Patriots move in against Jacksonville. All the matchups tonight on Sports Final. We'll let you know Roosevelt Colvin will be with us in the studio. And that's tonight on CBS 4 at 11:30 for Bob Newmeyer and our whole crew. I'm Bob Lobel. Thanks for being with us. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you for watching New England Ford Patriots 5th Quarter.